comics. I've made thousands of them. Hold on, I feel like I've been here before. Wait. So I'm making a trilogy. One that explains my comic book universe in its entirety. Kenny, are we doing this again?
Yeah.
To pick up where we left off, P11 escapes the planned alien and explodes the ship with him inside. Maximus Caesar and his goons get sucked into a black hole, and Project 11 reunites with his laboratory buddies to create a new team of superheroes. Dur & Drift had been my most ongoing comic series. All you need to know is that Dur & Drift have been through centuries of unexplained incidents. Drift has 3 versions of himself. He's been Evil Drift, where he controlled the universe. He's been Sub-Evil Drift, a cloned version of the real Drift. He has no idea who he is or why he's purple, but he can teleport. And of course, Normal Drift, with also powers of rift teleportation. But Durberger has never been cloned. He's always stayed the same, and sometimes he's not even in a specific issue. In the most important issue of Dur & Drift, Drift comes across Bill Cipher, a demon from another universe, an elemental god of the universe. Bill Cipher tries to steal Drift's soul, but is stopped by his great power. Bill tries to get back at him by recruiting Evil Kevin from Fortnite, Midas, and Sans from Undertale. But Drift turns into a robot and brings his own army. Killer King, the Purple Handprint Club, and the girl from Undertale. If you don't know who Killer King is or the Purple Handprint Club, I'll sum it up for you. Killer King is another comic I made at After School Care. He's a killer anti-hero who leads people into this haunted house and kills them. He's also the creator of the alien plant from the moon. The Purple Handprint Club is a group of 4 purple kids who save the world from aliens and enemies. The team consists of Ninja Tom, the leader, Scientist Taylor, the nerd, and Jim, as well as the captain of the club. Back to the story. The 2 armies charge at one another, but right before the battle starts, the ground splits, revealing another elemental god, Infero. Shaped like the sun, his wrath ends the war. This comic is especially important because it establishes the elementals as a cosmic threat. Anyways, let's go on to stage Omega. Project 11 has a nightmare of a book created by one of the elementals being ripped apart. P11 wakes and realizes he should be saving an alien planet from extinction. Instead, they get sucked into a rift in space, crashing into Bill Cipher's dimension. P11, P12, P13, and P14 are all then chased by the forces of this strange world. P12 and 11 find the rip in space and try to escape, but must fight past an avalanche. P11 is then teleported to the dark dimension by the rip in space, and P12 is teleported to Sub-Evil Drift's dimension. Sub-Evil Drift says to P12 that he's a close friend of the creators and that he needs Bill Cipher. P12 obviously has no idea who Bill is, so Sub-Evil Drift tells him he's an elemental god and goes back to the beginning of time. P12 and Drift teleport to Cipher's dimension to find nothing, so Drift just straight up blows up the place, but before he can, a blue superhuman rifts into the dimension and kills Drift. It turns out that he was the person who caused all these rips in space. This superhuman takes P12 and the rest of the team out of the Cipher dimension and into a portal to safety. They escape to the rubble of the alien planet they couldn't save. They are forced to fight more Cipher henchmen before converging to create human Cipher. The fighting continues before the team are sucked into another wormhole. It's in Project 11 2, Paradoxes Unleashed, where my use of storytelling really shines through. P12 and 14 get stuck in the Forgotten Realm, the city that Project Maximus built with his agents. They try to enter the city but are captured by some evil robots. Meanwhile, P-13 has been rifted into a flashback of the superhuman. He has a tattoo like the rest of the projects. He's Project 100. But during this discovery, he also gets trapped in the dark dimension with P-11. But when all hope is lost, the superhero known as Eshe busts through the ceiling. If you don't know who Eshe is, he's a tortured man who was made to wear a straitjacket sewn by the devil. Wearing it made him a bloodthirsty beast, and because of it, he turned into a secret anti-hero. He's kinda like Doom Guy. Meanwhile, Project Maximus taunts P-12 and 14 as him and his Starship City escape the Forgotten Realm and attack Bill's Cypher. Bill destroys the main barge and Eshe saves P-12 and 14, sending them to the center of the universe. Meanwhile, P-100 searches the universe to find the other projects, coming across the creator of the projects, the Spellweaver Supreme. In his past, he founded the Project Initiative and eventually expanded across the multiverse. The Spellweaver then gets his superhuman son, the Beholder, to find P-12 and 14. Eshe fends off the Beholder, but is stabbed in the heart. P-12 tries to sacrifice himself, but another elemental named Light intervenes. Then mysteriously, projects from other universes are rifted into a giant stadium to fight for an audience's enjoyment. It is here where a giant being explains the reason for the project's existence, to fight for entertainment. Meanwhile, in the dark dimension, Project 11 uses up all of his powers to rift P-12 out of death. Project 11 dies a hero. At the stadium, Light teleports to stop his brother, the Great Being, from commencing the games. This therefore interrupts everything and begins the Rebellion War. The story begins with Light recruiting the Purple Handprint Club to the Rebellion. They call the team the Rebellion, and Robot Drift busts through the door of the base. Drift explains to Light that the creator revived an evil version of himself and that his soul was placed into his old robot suit by P-100. During the recruitment stage of the Rebellion, they somehow get Iron Man and Spider-Man to join. Meanwhile, in the Immensei Thrive system, we meet another elemental, Nat, the green elemental who protects the Forgotten Book at all costs. Durburger, Galactus, and the Lord of Darkness try to steal the book but fail. Then a Spellweaver attack ship launches a nuclear missile at the planet. Nat then teleports to the stadium and is attacked by Sub-Evil Drift and a brainwashed Eshe. Nat has no choice but to destroy the Paraverse chunk, erasing the stadium from the Nanoverse. Don't worry, I'll explain it. The Paraverse is basically the character's universe, and the Nanoverse is all interconnected properties of the multiverse that makes everything work. So basically, Nat erased a part of the Nanoverse from existence. The heroes of the Rebellion attack as the being slowly loses the fight. Overwhelmed, he eats the heroes, sending them to the Nanoverse. What the heck? While all this is happening, the Spellweaver is preparing to bring his clones from other universes to this one, but he needs more power for his machine. When our heroes plummet into the Nanoverse, they are transported to another Paraverse altogether, turning small to fit the universe's scale. When they arrive, they are attacked by that universe's Spellweaver. The Spellweaver calls them the Drifter Squad and says that he will finally get his revenge. Our heroes are confused and have no idea what he's talking about. The Spellweaver scans them and realizes that they're telling the truth. Spellweaver then rips Robot Drift's brain out of his head to look for memories. He sees an alternate version of himself and believes that these heroes can get him to Paraverse 616. They travel across the Nanoverse, getting eaten by a giant rock monster and get stuck at the lowest point of the universe. But not all hope is lost. They find that the real Forgotten Book has been kept down at this level, but the Spellweaver snatches the book using its power to escape the Nanoverse. But he's overcome by its power and cannot handle it. He explodes. Then the being we fought earlier releases the Nanoverse into the multiverse by exploding. What? Then it's revealed that a space hitman called Regman is hunting down Jack Clintwood, aka P-100. The story begins with Regman suiting up. He says in his narration that he's a regular man and doesn't want to be known. When he was a boy, his planet had undergone an extinction event that changed the way he looked, and he couldn't survive without his suit. Meanwhile, Jack and his new friend are trying to recover his memories when Regman intervenes. Jack and this yellow guy cut off Regman's limbs, and green dust particles start to come out of his helmet. P-100 then calls for help across the universe and gets Grant, the Solar Martian, and the Beholder to help. The Beholder sneaks into Regman's base to see a hologram of the first superhero team fighting back against evil. Spellweaver finally enacts his plan. He converges all his clones and their armies to his universe. The Solar Martian tries to stop the army, but is sent to another universe. Out of nowhere, a being from the Nanoverse tries to kill P-100 and his friends. He's known as the Guild. It's not until the yellow guy cuts off his heart that they've survived. But Regman is stuck under the monster and is left there.